From a professional soccer career to becoming a driving force in the mortgage industry, Brian Covey has shown what it takes to find your competitive edge. Get off the sidelines and get in the game. Find your competitive edge with Brian Covey.
Have you ever wanted to read more books, or maybe just read a book and actually apply it and get something out of it versus just reading it or buying it and putting it on your shelf and never doing anything with it? Well, you're going to want to tune into this one because this recap is coming off of an amazing conversation with our friend Nick Hutchison. And he just released his new book, just came out, Rise of the Reader. And Nick has read over, hundreds of thousands of books, it sounded like. In seriousness, he's read thousands of books. And he actually breaks down how you can read a book and get the information that you really are looking for and go apply it to your life. Now imagine that for a second. You get that book, maybe a friend's recommended it to you, maybe someone at your company has recommended it, or you've even just seen it online. You're like, I need to read this. You're not sure how to make the time. You're not sure how to start. You're not sure how you're actually going to finish what you started with the book. Well, I'm going to give you 3 different ways that Nick he's breaking down in his book on how you can do that. And so stick with me. We're going to go through those. This one's going to be a rapid fire, as I love how he does Rise of the Reader, breaking down his best practices and how you can do this too for reading. So let's start with it. Let's just jump in. The first one is to have a SMART goal. Look, we've probably all heard this before. SMART goals in our own life. You got specific and measurable. We go through all of that there, and you're looking at, well, Brian, how does that apply to reading a book? Well, imagine that you actually had a goal of reading this book, and it was specific, it was measurable, right? And it was something that you're going to actually apply as you go through. It's relevant, it's timely. You have all these things that you've written down, and you set the intention for, I'm reading this book because I want to learn this one thing or 2 things that they're sharing. Well, if you start with that SMART goal, you're actually going to have a goal in mind, you're going to have a timeline bound, and you're going to finish the book more likely than just picking it up every once in a while, just at your leisure and trying to get through it as you go through. So think about your SMART goals. You grab a book, the next one that you read, right? Think that one that you've bought that's probably sitting there that you want to read, and start with a SMART goal. So you set your intentions for what you're going to learn as you go through that. I love that. I think that's fantastic as you go through. So I mentioned intentions. This is another piece that I love that Nick went through is, look, a lot of us just buy books or we get a book gifted to us. I have people that send me books all the time, and it's like, okay, why am I reading this? Before you start something, set your intention for, what is it that I'm hoping to get out of this? Why am I reading it now versus later? Maybe there's a book that you need to read that's very specific to your overarching goals and where you're going. So set your intention. And I also love this with what Nick shared, is many of us, we want to conquer reading a book, like right away, finish it, start to finish, go through it all. But what if you just set aside 15 minutes? A lot of us may say, well, I don't have time for that. Well, if we picked up our phones here and we grabbed these guys, we would know, looking at our actual social feed, or we'd look at where we spend time, that we do have the time, and you can actually take that 15 minutes. Nick even said, hey, once you get good at this, have 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the afternoon or evening. Now 30 minutes, you're going to be finishing that book with under 2 weeks. You're done with it. For most books, you could be able to finish it. So imagine that book you pick up. You've got your SMART goal, you've set your intention, and now you have it time bound where you're like, I'm going to read 15 minutes. Set a timer. When you're done with that, set the book down. Move on to what you need to do for the rest of the day. And then if you're able to do that, start adding in the 15 minutes later in the day. You're going to be able to finish the book a whole lot faster than you ever did before. The other thing I want to share with you guys, part 3 of what we talked about, and we talk about this a lot, but proximity, who you're around. Are they reading books? Are they listening to podcasts? Are they learners? You see, I believe the best leaders are readers. The best leaders are readers because they're gaining information to help them help their team members and people that they love and care about. So if you're a leader out there and you're listening to this, when is the last time that you read a book and you brought that back to your team? Have you then gifted it to them and you walked them through it? Are you doing a book club? We talked about the importance of people that have done that, and you can actually pull people together and read a book together. You see, once we're learning something, I believe we're actually adding value to who we are. We have new information. We have something we can share with someone. and refer back to it. Remember when I was reading this book here, and this is what I learned, right? Like that's something of value you could add to someone else as you go through it. So I shared 2 of my favorite books I've gone through, obviously with Ed Milet's The Power of One More. That has come up over and over. The stories, the lessons, the things that Ed shares in there really applied to my life, not only just in fitness, which is probably the most direct way that we can see how that would work, but also in sales, also just in relationships. The Power of One More today, going through, and people that you know have a birthday or they have some important anniversary, whatever it is, just doing one more video to send to them, one more phone call to those relationships. Think about the power that would happen there. Then the other book I went through, The One Truth with John Gordon, and I shared that the concept that I love that John goes through there, the oneness versus separateness, and like how our body and soul are all connected. And if you read this book from John, you're going to find out the thing I love about what he's able to do is really connect the mind, body, and spirit together. And you're able to go out. So without giving up too much there, those are the 2 books we talked about. These were 3 lessons that Nick and I dove in. Guys, make sure you grab his book, The Rise of the Reader. If you're looking to get better at reading, you're looking to read more books, gain more information, and just become someone of more significant value. Leaders are readers. Are you a leader? If not, if some of this is like, this is new to me, jump in the challenge. Make sure you start to take just 1 step a day. 15 minutes could change your life by reading the book with intention and SMART goals, and then bring people along with you. It's proximity, the people we surround ourselves with. That is how we build our community. So if you guys enjoy the episode, make sure you leave us a review. Let us know how it's impacted you. If you grab Nick's book, go over to Amazon, leave him a review. I know he would appreciate it. We love to support our friends, and what Nick and the team at Bookmakers are doing, I think, is outstanding. It's bringing a community together. It's all learning and growing together. So we'll catch you guys on the next episode.